We drove from the one.
Wow.
To Monterey yesterday.
You took the romantic route.
Yeah, we went full romantic, especially because it was sort of a 10 years anniversary. I'll just start with chatting a bit.
Yeah.
But it was exactly 10 years ago when we were for the first time in the States touring, and that was also my first time to visit the States in my life. And so we took the one, and yesterday we did it as well.
Oh.
Ended up in Monterey, and this morning we came in.
Wow. Was it what you remembered it to be? Was it just as romantic?
It was slightly better even.
Even better? Because the weather was better.
The weather was better.
That's probably
And it was not even bad weather the last time we did it, but it was somehow better.
Yeah. I agree. And I'm sorry, it's Merhan?
Yeah, I would say meringue.
Meringue?
Yeah, meringue.
Meringue.
Yeah, meringue.
Okay. I want to make sure I have my Dutch pronunciation on
If
point.
you want to really Dutch, then you would say meringue.
Meringue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah,
meringue.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
So meringue, was it just as romantic for you as it was?
100%. Maybe even more romantic.
Oh.
No, it was super nice because also we traveled. We did 20 shows now. This tour, and I think 80% was in the snow. But like 30 layers of clothing snow, you know, it was really cold. And then we could do this as the last part of the tour, you know. And we experienced a lot together. Not only this tour, but also the last 10 years or more. So it's nice to do this after 10 years, the same route as 10 years ago. And, with beautiful weather. And also we could reflect a little bit on how it was 10 years ago and how we now is like a lot of shows are sold out, so we could also celebrate a little bit.
So the drive down the coast of California is just beautiful and nothing like it.
One thing bothered me though.
Oh no. Okay, here we
What's
go.
happening?
Not so romantic.
10 years ago was hilarious. Somewhere during that tour, which was a 3-week tour also throughout the States, they called us, you can do a show in Hollywood and it's gonna be sick, and Bruno Mars was discovered over there, and we said no, we're over tour, we did too many shows and we're not gonna do it. In the end they convinced us, and we played a show. We were literally exhausted. We were sleeping in it was sort of a lobby show in Hollywood, in a lobby of some kind of venue. And a couple of years later, I see a Twitter story. Yeah, Weval was there as well. So I'm thinking, what is this? I'm clicking, see the poster of that night. Apparently, it was Billie Eilish and this other superstar, which I forgot the name for now.
Not as famous as Billie Eilish, but still superstar.
So a poster is saying very big letters, Weval, and very small underneath, Billie Eilish. And that was literally her breakthrough moment.
Yeah.
Do you remember much of that? Did you interact with her?
Well, I found a video of that night because I immediately searched like, okay, did this happen? Because a long time ago. Then I found a video of that exact night, and I looked at it and I saw my head moving in the light. And then I watched one song, and then I left to look at the fake stars on the ground, on the
Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah. I watched, Stones and not a real star for the rest of the show. I was like, I have to see this as well.
This was more important than Billie Eilish.
Apparently, yeah.
And the funny thing was, I was sleeping in the back. This was the most intense tour we ever did, by the way. That was the context. And they said, everybody's coming for you guys, gonna be sick. But when we were on, everybody left. So the lobby was almost empty. That was also super funny about it. That we said, we said to each other, we shouldn't do this show. And they all came for her. See, it was right when she had the Ocean's Eye song. And she had that moment, like I think a couple of months later, she really got massive. And but still, I am happy that we did the show. And not every show can be spectacular. And this one was, in retrospective, way more spectacular.
It wouldn't surprise me that she's a big Weval fan after that, and probably has it in her memory somewhere, and maybe
Who
in this
knows?
new album,
It would
she
be
may
nice.
give you guys a call.
Who knows? Yeah,
We
I'm
need
still
to put-
waiting. Still waiting for the call.
We
So
need to
call
put
us.
that in the universe.
Indeed. And like when we drove yesterday, 10 years later, like we were thinking about that moment. That was so fun.
Yeah.
That's what you were thinking of as you were
Yesterday, yeah.
on the coast.
Yeah.
We're very happy where we are in life.
Yeah.
But we're not doing arenas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do what you love, and that's what makes you
Exactly.
happy. That's really
Yeah.
an ultimate reward in life, and that's what your legacy will be.
Exactly, and it's like it's amazing to see now, especially now we really have like a dance show. Like it's 100% dance music, 90 minutes long, and every night I love the view of people who are at first a bit scared to dance, and then at the end they are all dancing their ass off.
Just wild and
Yeah.
let loose and free.
Yeah,
Well, we should note that the album's called Chorophobia,
Yeah.
which is the fear of dancing.
yeah. We came up with the name because we were at first saying like, okay, what kind of record are we going to make? And then we thought we never made like an actual dance record. It was always like 50% the dance record. And then we said to each other, no, okay, maybe you should call this one a dance record. But we realized we were a bit scared of doing that, which is weird because we are already like 10 years into electronic dance music, and that's how we came up with the name, because we thought it's funny that the electronic act is scared of his like the dance music itself, and then we found this word and it fit it perfectly. And we made it a bit literal as well.
Yeah, indeed. That helped us to get some kind of guide. Not normally we would very like intuition and feelings, but we needed a bit of a guide to say like, no, this is what we're doing right now. Almost like the story or something that really helps to commit to a certain energy. And when we got signed with our first label, it's called Compact. It's a techno label. So we were super happy that they signed us, but the first thing we said, we're not going to make techno. So we were always like,
So you were already out of the gate saying, we're not making this.
yeah,
We're going to be this.
Yeah.
going to be like something undefinable.
Cinematic and...
We were
taking-
once like a band with 6 people doing more like sometimes
Fusion.
whatever.
Crowd rock,
I don't know.
jazz,
We went all
electronic.
over the place. Yeah, as long if it didn't fit the dance part, it was all good or something. Or like, we can do this, but like 20% of the show, I also like ambient stuff, trip hop, all this stuff.
Well, that's really interesting
Yeah.
because you got signed basically 10 years ago. We're looking at the teens, 2014 to 16,
Yeah.
thereabouts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the height of when mainstream electronic music was really taking a hold, and
Yeah.
the likes of Calvin Harris and
Yeah.
all these others that
Yeah.
were really pushing the genre into the limelight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a way, kind of quote unquote dumbed it down. Did you feel that way
I think
and not want to be a part of that?
I think the rise of EDM in the States was next to a sort of underground level that was sort of more stable in terms of popularity in Europe. So we just heard stories about that it was massively blowing up over here. But I think for our standards, it was not a big shift in our own musical experience. So.
Yeah.
So that was not something we were against or something, but it's more like as people who are like, we love so many genres and we just didn't want to commit. And also like why not? Let's be against something. It's also nice, a good driver sometimes of getting other ideas. But this time we needed a bit more like, okay, we're going to embrace that we love the straightforwardness of electronic music and try to do our take on that.
Yeah. It definitely is not the same level of other electronic acts that are in the mainstream today. It's not like a John Summit or Dom Dalla or even a Fortet or a Skrillex. What you guys have made with Chorophobia is definitely your own sound.
Thanks.
And in my opinion, merges and elevates that atmospheric vibe that you started with, but again, makes it more danceable.
Yeah. Well, that's,
right?
yeah, I
That's
like
the
to hear
goal.
this because I was a bit scared that we maybe would shift too much or something, and that we lose the melancholic stuff or something, but I think it's still there. You always choose like a certain kind of chords or the way you use reverb on a vocal or something, so it would still sound like us. We realize now, especially when more people coming to the show and you hear stories, but also like you're saying now. So that sounds good.
Yeah, indeed. And we're so deep in it, like we're so obsessed that sometimes we feel like we should take a risk or should be more extreme in certain choices. And then other people say, this is what you always do. And then, okay, yeah, we didn't know. Like for us, this feels out of comfort zone. And for other people, we heard back like, yeah, this is sort of your home or something.
Right.
Which I guess gives us even more confidence to do like whatever, but also go the extreme, I guess.
Right. Were there any external influences in this new album and also in going in this direction? Not necessarily, so-and-so is doing this and so-and-so is doing that. But you know what I mean? Like,
we did a lot of DJ sets before making the record, and that really got us into a totally different mindset, because we started, talking about the idea of let's make a record which you can play on a house party, that kind of house party which we had back in the days or something. And then we made a couple of tracks, and then we did the DJ sets after, and then we realized we can go way faster. We can go way more bold, minimalistic. We can. It's a different time also than back in the days. Like 10 years ago or something. And we loved that. We loved that we could go from 120 BPM to 160 in an hour or something like that. So that really got us into a different mindset, and I think without the DJ sets, the record wouldn't sound the same.
Yeah. I could add on to that. We did it less for some time, and that was looking back to it a little bit of a mistake, because when you do your band touring and your studio, it's sort of a fake world. You don't meet anyone, you don't have time, you're setting up, and in the studio is sort of, for us, a bit of a mellow place, just make dreamy, nice stuff. And when we start doing the DJ sets again, indeed, we felt like, whoa, this is so intense. If I play this record and it lands well, I'm going to remember that forever. But if it bombs, I'm also going to remember that really well.
You're not going to sleep. You're not going to sleep.
And then a few days later, you're in the studio. You know exactly what you want. Yeah. And I guess we lost that for a little bit. And then you get in that overthinking mindset. I can go loud on this. I can go subtle on this. And you can make 10 versions. And you become this professor. But you don't have like a foot in the ground anymore. And it becomes really abstract.
Yeah.
And I guess, the DJ sets were a lifesaver for getting our intuition back.
What's really curious is that also with what you make, you just dropped a few different genres, krautrock and jazz and all these different types of sounds. Yeah. Now, as you were DJing, what did you bring back? Did you bring back any type of sounds and kind of modify? And it's still Weval sounds that I hear in Chorophobia, like Free, for example. I love that song.
Nice.
As well as the title track. The title track is awesome. Nice. But were there any other influences that
I think, especially because when we started DJing again, we were re-investigating what do we want to play out, because we used to play a bit more down-tempo and like vibey stuff. And then we realized, at least that's what we experienced, that we can alternate between those vibey moments but also pretty out there stuff. And I think Dopamine, that song that's on the record as well, was a good example of a type of energy that feels kind of risky to do in a more like in between vibey songs as well. And the crowd is so flexible these days. Like, cool, let's do this right now, as long as it hits well. So I think, for example, if you look at the track Mercator versus Dopamine, it's on the same record, but it is like a very chill, mellow one compared to a very loud one. I think that's my takeaway. The contrast with what's happening, that's nice. But did you have other songs that comes to mind?
And there was like, for me, one super, like a pretty heavy, pretty fast a track with the Japanese vocals on it, and I found it somewhere, and I was like, okay, we never played stuff like this, but I'm gonna put it on the USB and let's see what happens. And well, we played it that night, and the energy that came free at that moment, I think for me, it's really inspired to make stuff which was, more bold and straightforward and direct and a little bit more crazy or something like that. But I can't remember the name because it was a Japanese name.
And I think the whole feeling of that song, but also like the setting where the DJ nights are playing, are super rock and roll and have this punk energy, because we were so used to playing in venues and it's very controlled,
Right.
setting up all day. And it's almost like a theater show. We improvise, but we know when we improvise,
Yeah.
And with DJing, you're surrounded by people. They're way closer, and it has that wild energy that we,
That you can really feed off of, right? And then you're like, okay, let's keep this going. And it's less about, no, I need to stick to my set list. No, let's make the crowd get into it even more.
Indeed. And when you're in the studio, it's like, we used to make 10 versions of songs and used to make hundreds of mixes. And right now we said, no, we're not allowed to do that anymore. We just want to make like as fast as possible to the end of that song, and not making 6 versions like a scientist, which one is the best. And a lot of mixing time, we spent so much hours overthinking it and trying to get a better mix. And it was sometimes better, but sometimes not even, So that sort of rock and roll energy, I think, was the feeling we wanted to bring in the records.
But we also couldn't do this. If we said the same thing 10 years ago, it would have been shit, So I think because of all this,
experience.
Now we could make a decision, like we know now what to do a little bit. So
that's a great way to describe it. More rock and roll, more punk, and more just like, let's just do it. Who cares?
Indeed.
If we fail, we fail, but at least we tried.
Indeed. We didn't buy any new equipment. We worked super fast. And of course, there were rabbit holes we fell into, but it was, I think, 5% comparing to the record we had before. So there was still like, I want to redo this in tape, and I want to go super nerdy and like the same synth, but try that synthesizer as well. And Marijn is really strict with this. He said, Harm, we're not going to do this. And so, we did a little bit, but
so we did a bit, Sometimes I had a day off, and then he went to studio like, let me try that synth. Let me see if it's really the best.
Not going to do anything. At the end of the day, I'm going to impress
Surprise folder.
Exactly.
But I must say, like, the deadlines were helping, and it worked out. We're happy.
Yeah.
What is the dynamic between you guys? Because as a duo, we just hear Weval music, but then we dig into what Harm does, what Marijn does. How does it work in terms of presenting work and material, sounds, stems, and those kind of things?
It's difficult to say this is how we always work or something like that, because there are tracks on the record that's that started, and then when I look back at it, it's like, this Harm is sending a track, and it's like I think already like 70%, 80% finished, especially with the new rules we were gonna apply, and so we had those moments, but also moments where we were both in the studio. We started ID from scratch, and then we noticed like, okay, Harm is also doing vocals, but he's also really good at the outboard gear stuff. I'm a little bit more arrangement in the box guy. So then we realized, okay, if I'm doing the in the box stuff, staring at the screen, and Harm is doing all this synth stuff and effects, and he just sending me stems and crazy ideas, I can just arrange it pretty quickly and then yells sometimes like, "No, let's not do that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we both make IDs on our own, but when we're together, like indeed, Marijn is a very good driver, a very quick editor, quick arranger. You can be critical and positive at the same time, I think, which is nice because I can give him some rubbish, and a lot of times it's like, it's probably shitty, but I've got something here in my headphone, and then record it anyway. Like it might be too shitty. Sometimes the drum computer, for example, is not in sync completely, so we don't even hear like, is this really a vibe or not? We're not sure.
Yeah.
Just record 20 seconds or something, and then Marijn is so quick with arranging stuff, and we just try to stack IDs and jam on a little vocal, and I think that's very helpful for me to. I'm just playing like little bits, recording little bits, and then Marijn is a quick arranger. For me personally, I need a bit more time mostly, so I record a bit on my own. Next day, I might be better at arranging. Like, oh, this is what I did. But you can do that very well in one afternoon, for example.
Yeah.
And
I want it to be finished also. Like, okay, let's finish it, put it in Dropbox, and then on the way home, I can blast it in my ears.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. More like a midfield player. He's more like a striker attitude. Like, I want to play forever. Like I don't like to make decisions and I like to be positive.
Right.
Marijn can say, this is really nice, and this is whatever. You know, let's leave this.
Yeah. That's awesome. Is there a Billie Eilish song that you think you can rework and remix and kind of add a Weval touch to?
Yeah, like the first thing that comes to mind is I really love that song "Bird of a Feather." I don't know how the remix would sound like, but that's the first thing. And I have some real favorites of her, by the way.
No specifics here because I think they're all. You know, sometimes you have these tracks like, what can you add? You know, or what can you do? So maybe it's nice to name this one, because it's really different from what we do, and it's still, you know.
I like a good challenge.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're doing an after night DJ set after the live show in LA, and we're gonna pick one song from her, rip the vocals, and try to make a cool edit.
You have
let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Make a poster.
Yeah.
Make a poster. And at least a surprise performance.
Yeah, surprise for by Billie Eilish, and that's DJ edit.
And that's vocal that we ripped, and hope you like it.
It'll be the 10-year anniversary of sorts.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm putting it into the universe. I think you guys make fantastic music. You guys definitely can do something with her. Her last album was a shift in her sonics with more electronics, so why not?
100% would be up for it. And a big honor that you're saying that. But let's start tomorrow when we drive to LA with our laptops. We're going to do a challenge.
Yeah.
We're not saying which song we take. No. We have software to rip the vocals. Sorry if someone doesn't like that, but that's available. That's not a secret.
And it doesn't need to be in the surprise folder. This is actually going to be part of
this is not a surprise anymore.
No, not a surprise.
And we're going to send it to you as well.
Yeah. I would love to hear it, please.
Nice.
It's so great to meet you guys.
Great to meet you.
And we look forward to the set, and best of luck with everything.
Nice.
Thank
you so much.
The guys of Weval right here on B-Sides.